From ultralight tech to unexpected multi-use items, these were the MVPs of my Pacific Crest Trail through hike that I could not have done without. Hey y'all, welcome back. The Pacific Crest Trail surprised me in so many ways, and that includes with my gear. Some of the things that I thought would just be like nice to have turned out to be total game changers. So let's talk about the unsung heroes, the things that I appreciated the most that helped me survive the entire Pacific Crest Trail through hike. Be sure to stick around until the end for the full list, but if you need to skip out, you can see my entire PCT through hike gear list at the link in the description below. I've included almost everything. I keep discovering things I've forgotten, but almost everything that I had with me on the PCT or briefly had with me, even if I didn't keep it, all of that stuff is in my gear link along with links. So feel free to check those out if you're hunting for something in particular. So with that, let's dive right in. Okay, so the first thing to make the list was the Z-Pak's DCF rain poncho. Now I did not start the trail with this. I started the trail with the Inlined Equipment Visp. It is a rain jacket. I cannot recommend it enough as a rain layer, but I was, that was for my torso. I also had to have something to keep my pack wet or dry. I also needed to worry about my hand pack. It had all my camera gear and electronics on it. And once I discovered this, number one, that alone, the fact that it covers everything in one fell swoop, that was enough value for me. But I also discovered that I love cowboy camping, and not only could this have served as a ground sheet, I used a Tyvek instead, but it can serve as a ground sheet. I think, don't quote me on this, I think you can like rig it as a shelter as well. But I wasn't using it for that, but it was nice to have it to lay next to my Tyvek, next to my cowboy camping setup, for me to put my pack on, a dry place for my electronics and everything that's charging overnight. It was just nice to have a dry place that was not dirt to store my stuff. So this, big fan. Okay, next up is my Copperfield wind shirt. Y'all, I didn't know about wind shirts, and I do now. So this is the Copperfield wind shirt. So I really had only, well, and I also have the wind pants. Those I don't think ever use. So they're amazing. I didn't use them. I didn't need them. But this wind shirt, the reason I love it is I have a lot of problems controlling my body temperature when it's cold out because I sweat. It doesn't matter how cold it is. If I'm moving, I'm gonna sweat. And the problem with sweating in cold temperatures is that then I'm wet. So I'm fine while I'm moving, but then the second I stop moving, I'm on the verge of hypothermic because I'm wet and I can't control my body temperature. So what I need are really, really lightweight layers that dry quickly. And I was fully expecting this to feel like a trash bag, that clammy, remember hot pants? I was expecting it to feel like plastic. And the thing was, it does feel like plastic when you start to sweat in it. It does stick to your skin like that. But what I didn't realize is this is somewhat permeable and it dries. It absorbs the sweat and dries. Not in the way that a fabric that's meant for that would, but this was just way, way more versatile than I expected. And I ended up, this is the Inlined Equipment, what's it called? Oh, it's their puffy, Torrid, the Torrid. I started with this and it's amazing. It's a really great puffy. It's synthetic, which I always love to pair. My quilt is down. I love to pair synthetic with, anytime I'm using down, I also like to make sure that I have some synthetic insulating layers as well, because we all know that down loses its insulating properties when it's wet. But I ended up going with this combo. So this is a Senti. It is a fluffy textured hoodie. This is the, I don't remember, what's the lightest weight one, whichever one that is. But I ended up pairing this with the Copperfield wind shirt, and this provided a little bit of insulation. This kept the wind off of me, and this combo was a replacement for this. Now, if it's cold enough, you need this for sure. But this was great. I run hot. I don't tend to be cold. And so this was perfect. And this is what I ended up going with. This is later on the list, so we'll get to this. But this is the wind shirt. And the wild thing is the wind shirt and the wind pants that are underneath, I kept them. This is the fanny pack, the Hyperlight fanny pack I use. So this is the bulk of the fanny pack, but on the back there's this little pocket. And what's in there? Oh, a sticker. Chicken Tramper Ultralight gear. I don't know where I got that sticker. Oh, that might be the Ultralight wallet I bought at Trail Days. I don't know. Anyway, this little like pocket right here, I just folded them up and kept them in there. And they are, I mean, literally, I mean, it could be folded much more efficiently, but they literally turn into just the tiniest little ball. So anyway, Inline Equipment Copperfield. Big fan, and I'll definitely use it for trail running in mountains. It would be amazing because you're moving. You don't need warmth necessarily. You need to get the wind off of you. It's bonkers at that. Hello, hey, if you are sitting there thinking, oh, I want to travel more, I want to go on more adventures, come with me. I host trips around the world. We've been hiking in Patagonia, we went looking for the Northern Lights in Iceland, trekking in Nepal, camping in Banff, Canada, in the Canadian Rockies. We do it all, and we have a real good time. Everyone's welcome, and all the details for any current trips, just click that little bubble up in the top corner, or go to my website, jjb.life/travel. And we almost always make at least one group cringy TikTok. So come hang out with us. We're a real good time. Okay, next up on my list is this little thing. This is the RovyVon A8 flashlight. You can see it right here. It charges by USB. It does not use batteries. It is rechargeable. This little thing is sometimes tricky to get open, but there is the USB-C port. It has one button right here, and you can see it has this clip on the top. This is insanely bright for how tiny it is. It's really bright. And the thing I like most about it is that I always wore a baseball cap. I wore this hat right here. It's my merch. Do you need a tits out hat? Are you living the tits out lifestyle? A life of adventure and calculated risks? My merch link is on my website, but that's neither here nor there. This, I wore a hat, and so one of the many reasons why I love this is because it could clip onto there. And our ultra runner friends are well aware of this, but it's ideal at night when you're hiking or running to have two light sources from two different angles. Sorry, I'm not finding my words. Light sources from two different angles, because then that gives you a sense of depth, or a much better sense of depth. When you just have one light source hitting everything, it can cause your depth perception to not be as accurate. So it will help decrease if you find yourself tripping and falling a lot when you're hiking at night. Give that a try. And this was great for that, because these are so small that it was no problem to carry too. The one thing, if you're hiking all through the night, which you're probably going to do at least some in the desert, you're going to want more than one of these, because the battery life is not small, but it won't last all night, like not even close, especially if you have it on one of the brighter settings. So I would advise having at least a couple of these. That's what I did. I had two of them and I loved them. It has all kinds of features. It also has, oh, that's just the light, but then it also has a red light, a blue light. I think it blinks also, yeah. So I will always use these. I have these everywhere. I also have one by my back door. It's great, like if the dogs won't come in and I can't figure out where they are. I mean, it illuminates our entire backyard. So anyway, big fan of this. Big fan. Okay, next up are my Ombraz. These are the sunglasses that I wore. They're becoming very popular with trail runners, especially like backpackers, ultralight backpackers, because since they don't have a traditional ear bar, just a nylon string, they are much, much lighter. And because of not having a hinge here for that ear bar, they are much more rugged. You can sit on them, they're not gonna break. They have a great scratch-proof coating. These lasted the whole trail and they have still plenty of life left in them. I mean, you can see there are a couple minor scrapes that I can see when I wear them, but they're not distracting. And I mean, honestly, I can't believe these have any life left in them. Big fan of these. They're an investment. I mean, they're worth it. You're going to have them for a long time, and they're really high quality, but they come in at $160. So this is a big choice if you're going to make it. But if you need sun protection that's going to last the whole trail, highly, highly recommend. Okay, next up is my DJI Pocket 3. This is what I shot everything on. I'm also shooting on this right now. This is a little powerhouse. It shoots 4K video. It has a gimbal stabilized camera. The features are, there's a lot of them. There's also a wireless microphone, which is what you're hearing me on right now. It's right here. Just a real big fan of this. It does amazing work and it gets such high quality footage for how small of a package it is. I considered bringing my, very inexpensive, my very expensive cinema rig, and I very quickly realized that made no sense. So big fan of that, and it's good for other travel footage, anything like on the go. This is the entire thing, but this is actually an extra battery pack here on the bottom. You can just run with this here. And they call it the Pocket because it literally fits in your pocket. So big fan of this thing here. And it comes in under $1,000, well under $1,000. So I don't know, it was great for me. Okay, next up is the Nightcore Carbo 20,000. This is a battery bank. It's 20,000 milliamps. Is that what they're called? It is from Nightcore. I bought mine on Garage Grown Gear. This is, for its capacity, hands down, the lightest battery bank that I could find. I carried 3 of them, but I was charging a lot of camera gear and iPad to be able to work and edit on the trail and some other things. So I definitely had above average power needs, but they were great. And I carried them in a fanny pack. So, obviously I'm still carrying the weight. So you're still carrying the weight. It's not that makes you not carry the weight, but it does make a big difference to be carrying it on your weight. It really helps take any of that extra weight off your shoulder. So some of my heavier camera gear, like all those battery packs, I kept in my fanny pack. It was a great place to put a few of my heavier items. Okay, next up is German Shammy. There's other names for it too, but I just got it in bulk on Amazon. It's pretty stiff when you get it, but once it has been used, once it's been wet a few times, it turns into a really, really soft, hyper absorbent cloth. Not only is it hyper absorbent, but once you wring it out, it dries really quickly as well. So the entire trail, I always kept 2 to 4 of these. I would cut them into little squares, like basically half this size. So I would take like 1, 2, and then a third size, and I would just lash them to the outside of my pack, and I would use them for everything. Mostly cleaning up at night. I would use them to clean up at night. I would always make sure if I was dry camping and wasn't camping near a water source, I would make sure that I had an extra 1 to 200 milliliters of water. So, and I got to the point where I could give myself a wipe down with a very small amount of water, but I never really forewent that. And, yes, I am a freak about hygiene. There is that just benefit of just feeling fresher and cleaner and smelling better. But honestly, the bigger reason that I made sure that I cleaned myself every night was for my gear. My Revelation sleeping quilt from Enlightened Equipment is not inexpensive, and I wanted it taken care of. And so wiping myself down at night, it looks amazing. It looks amazing. I was expecting tons of filth, especially like in the footbox area, and it doesn't have it. It looks great. And I'm pretty convinced that it's because I kept myself clean at night. So anyway, German chamois, you can get it. I got it on Amazon. I'm sure you can get it anywhere, but you can buy it in bulk and cut it to whatever size you would like. Okay, next up is my Senti. This right here is the Senti Alpha 60 hoodie, I believe. It is, I'm pretty sure, the lightest weight of the Sentis. So this has been washed a gazillion times, and don't tell anyone, but I didn't wash it the way you're supposed to. I washed it very irresponsibly. And even still, you can see it's kept its, what do you call that? Pill? But a good pill. I mean, pilling of things, fabric is usually a negative, but this is great. That's what provides the insulation. All these little hairs and fibers trap air and heat in there. And I don't remember if it was earlier in this video or a different video, but oh yeah, I think it was earlier in this one when I mentioned the Copperfield. But I ended up pairing these together. Warmth, wind protection together, most of the time did the same job as my puffy. Now, if it had been colder, this wouldn't have been enough. So I'm not saying that this always replaces this, but if you're in mild-ish cool temperatures, this might be an option for you. The added benefit is that you can separate them. So you can also just wear them. If you just need warmth but no wind protection, you can just wear this. If you don't really need warmth, but you just need out of the wind, or you need just like it's great. Big fan. Now, these also are not inexpensive, but you get what you pay for. And this is a place that I would suggest not pushing your budget, but if you are going to splurge in, select categories, this is one I would consider splurging in. Okay, next up, oh gosh, this thing. Talk about an MVP. This is my Katadyn BeFree. I don't know if it's been out of my pack since I got back. Ew, look how dirty it is. This is my Katadyn BeFree water filter. It is in a Canuck bag, which I think is 2 liters. Yep, it's a 2-liter bag. I became a really big fan. Well, first of all, I'm a big fan of this filter. I know Sawyer is more widespread. It's what more people use. But after seeing people struggling with them, the flow rates, the plunger thing, I'll make more videos about these. Other people have, actually. I probably don't need to. You can go watch theirs. I'm a big fan of these, and I would advocate for a BeFree. I just would. Again, this is like an off-market bag. This is not the bag that comes with it. You can buy just the filter, or you can buy the filter with a small bag. I started with a small bag, but I ended up upgrading to this. And to be honest, the main reason was because of this. Oh, I put that on backwards. Was because of this. This makes water collection so much easier. This big, wide opening. So it took me, I didn't settle on this combo until the end. It took me most of the trail to decide this was the water treatment setup that I wanted. But now that I know, I know. Last but definitely not least is my Tyvek. And I actually have some brand new Tyvek right here. So this is the Tyvek that I use for the entire trail cowboy camping. It has been through the wash, which is why it's cleanish. If you're not familiar with Tyvek, it is a construction material. It is used as a vapor barrier on buildings. You might see buildings that don't have their siding and stuff yet, and you'll see it wrapped in this. It's a waterproof fabric. It's pretty strong, and it makes for a great ground sheet when you're cowboy camping. Near the end, I decided to upgrade, partly because this was just the right size, and I realized that I would have liked to have more space around me. It was hard to find, well, which is why I ended up buying the Z-Pak's DCF Poncho. I used ground sheet poncho. I used that next to my cowboy camping setup to put my backpack on and electronics while they were charging, everything overnight that I didn't want to be sitting in the dirt. So I decided I would want a bigger piece of Tyvek. So I ordered it, and it ended up coming right at the end of the trail. And I was like, you know what? Let's keep it fresh. It's bigger, so I don't remember the exact dimensions. There's lots of options if you're buying it. I got this on Amazon. This was not available on Amazon until recently. You used to have to, well, It wasn't that difficult to find, but this is purchased in bulk, like by construction companies. So most people just go to a construction site and say, hey, can I buy, you know, a 10-foot piece of your Tyvek? I think they would usually give it to you for free. But this is nice because it has grommets on it. It has grommets on all 4 corners, and the reason that is nice is that you can stake it down. Was it the end of the world to not have grommets? No. But there were definitely times when I was setting up camp. I mean, this is very lightweight, which you want, but it would blow in the wind and blow away and whatnot. So anyway, the ability to stake it down will be great. Okay, so those were my gear most valuable players on my Thru-Hike. I think at the end of the day, versatility is king. The best gear is gear that's going to do more than one job. And that's hard to find, but sometimes you find things like my Z-Pak's DCF poncho that serve multiple jobs, and that's great. That's a great way to save weight. It's not about having the most expensive gear, it's about having the right gear for you and your needs. So from sunglasses to chamois, these are the unexpected champions that got me through the trail. I'd love to hear what your MVPs were if you thru-hiked the trail, or if you're planning to thru-hike the trail, or even if you just backpack. What are your MVPs? What do you value the most? Are they things other people would value? Are they luxuries? Hey, if you want to know more about my gear choices, check out the description for links to all of my PCT gear. And if you are thinking, oh, I wish I could travel more, but I don't have any fun people to travel with me. I host trips all over the world. That link is also in the video description. Right now I have a trip going to Banff. It's filling up, but if it's not available, I'll have something else. So come, join, and we'll see you next time. Bye, y'all. Want to watch another video? Click here. Want to learn more about my upcoming trips? Click here. Want to subscribe and like all my videos and turn those bell notifications on?